Welcome to the hottest movie review on the internet today, the A-List Review. I am your host, the Game Changer, Wes Troop. And I'm starting up a new series for the channel, a look back at 1997 in film. Because when I did my LA Confidential review back a few months ago, I decided to look up that year, like what came out. And I lived through that year, and I remembered it was a pretty good and fun year for movies. So we're going to start off at the very other end of the spectrum of good and check out one of the superhero films from that year. My review of the 1997 superhero film, Spawn, coming up now. Al Simmons is a CIA operative and U.S. Marine assigned by his boss, Jason Wynn, to infiltrate a biochemical weapons plant in North Korea. Simmons, however, is feeling morally wrong about his job and wants out. Unfortunately for him, Al is set up by Wynn, who badly burns and kills Simmons. After making a literal deal with the devil, Simmons finds himself as Spawn, the leader of Hell's army, for an exchange to return to Earth to see his wife and daughter. 5 years later, Simmons finds himself back on Earth along with a clown-looking demon named the Violator, acting as his guide down the path to evil, and also Simmons looks for revenge on the man who killed him. So what did I think of Spawn? I thought it's an awful superhero film. It's based on the Image comic series of the same name created by Todd McFarlane. The film is directed by Mark A.Z. Dippé, making his directorial film debut here, but he did work as a visual effects supervisor on projects such as Terminator 2 Judgment Day and Jurassic Park. I saw this back in movie theaters as a kid, and I remember thinking it wasn't great. It turns out it's much worse than I remembered. Unfortunately, the CGI effects here are terrible, even for its time. We see the same fire tunnel effect over and over through the film, Spawn's red cape that looks cheap, and the character of Malbogia almost looks like something out of Birdemic, as his mouth doesn't even move. It's only made funnier that Frank Welker does the voice for this character, who uses the same voice he did for Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. I will say that the practical effects used on Spawn and the clown, even when he turns into his Violator form, are decent. All of the action is lackluster, too, from moments that feel like a Batman ripoff, such as his arrival at a reception, or the unremarkable final battle, which becomes unintentionally funny because of its effects. The story is dreadful and feels incoherent most times, taking so many bad turns. The main gist is the devil making a contract with a weapons dealer to spread a virus around the world and then burn down heaven, constantly going roundabout ways to do it. The prologue feels 100% forced and thrown in to help to try to set up what the hell literally is going on to the audience. The dialogue is ghastly, especially the clown's terrible jokes, one-liners, and gross-out gags, which of course includes fart jokes and beyond. It feels like they wrote him as a satanic version of Robin Williams' Genie, but if all the jokes were terrible and fell flat. The cheerleading scene is certainly nightmare-inducing all in its own. The cast stars Michael J. White as Al Simmons, the CIA agent who's double-crossed and murdered and ends up becoming Spawn, the leader of Hell's army, John Leguizamo as Clown/Violator, the obnoxious demon disguised as a clown and Spawn's arch-nemesis, Martin Sheen as Jason Wynn, the CIA director whose heart-stopping will release a deadly virus, Teresa Randall as Wanda Blake, Al's widow, who was remarried to his best friend after his death, and Nicole Williamson as Nicholas Cogliostro, the Spawn who now fights for heaven and shows Spawn how to use his powers. Spawn is a cringeworthy, terribly aged superhero film that's just dreadful. Number-wise, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10, which gives it the A-list rating of, hey Spawn, I've only got 2 words for ya. Suck it.
Alright, well that's the show. I'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, don't forget to subscribe right here on YouTube. youtube.com/westside515. Like the show on Facebook, facebook.com/WestTroopAlist. And of course, you can follow me on the Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at WestAlist. Until next time, Troop out.